Have you ever felt weighed down, as though life's challenges and expectations keep you stuck in place? Sometimes the attachments we hold on to, whether they're fears, regrets, or desires, can stop us from thriving and reaching our full potential. In today's video, we at Stoics Decoded share 9 practical steps to help us let go of what might be holding us back and embrace growth and peace. Letting go doesn't mean surrendering or losing control. It's about finding a path aligned with reason, balance, and inner peace. Let's get ready to transform our lives and embrace a journey of growth and self-discovery together. 1. Embracing change as a constant. Change is often met with resistance, fueled by our innate desire for stability. Yet if we think about it, isn't life itself a series of changes? Consider the seasons, the shifting clouds, or even how the cells in our bodies are constantly renewing. Change is all around us, whether we acknowledge it or not. Let's take a closer look at how embracing or resisting change has shaped the fates of major companies. Blockbuster, once a leader in the video rental industry, failed to recognize the shift toward digital streaming. Its reluctance to innovate allowed competitors like Netflix to rise, ultimately leading to Blockbuster's downfall. In contrast, Netflix embraced change, transforming from a DVD rental service into a global streaming giant, adapting to meet consumer demands. Similarly, Amazon began as a humble online bookstore, but consistently evolved to meet market needs. By expanding into e-commerce, cloud computing with Amazon Web Services, and even artificial intelligence, Amazon became one of the most versatile and influential companies in the world. On the other hand, Kodak, despite inventing the digital camera, clung too tightly to its traditional film business. Its inability to adapt to the digital revolution resulted in its decline. These stories illustrate that innovation and a willingness to adapt are critical for survival and success in a constantly evolving world. Companies that embraced change thrived, while those that resisted fell behind. Stoicism teaches us that change is a natural and inevitable part of life. Marcus Aurelius reflects in Meditations, "Things are constantly changing. You yourself are constantly changing. Rather than fearing change, consider it an opportunity for growth." Accepting and adapting to life's fluctuations allows us to explore new experiences and gain insights that drive progress. Think of change as a teacher guiding you and us toward a more virtuous and fulfilling existence. 2. Learn from failures. Fear of failure often holds us back, keeping us from pursuing our dreams and seizing new opportunities. Yet failure is not the end of the road. It is an essential part of growth and a powerful teacher. Let's take Tesla and SpaceX as examples, companies both led by Elon Musk. Tesla faced numerous challenges in its early days, including production delays, financial difficulties, and even moments where it was on the brink of bankruptcy. Critics doubted the feasibility of its vision for electric vehicles, and early setbacks threatened to derail its mission. However, Tesla persevered by learning from its mistakes, refining manufacturing processes, and focusing on innovation, particularly in battery technology and renewable energy solutions. These failures became stepping stones, helping Tesla emerge as a leader in the electric vehicle market and a symbol of sustainability. Similarly, SpaceX encountered major setbacks during its early small-lift vehicle rocket launches. The first 3 Falcon 1 launches ended in failure, nearly bankrupting the company. Instead of giving up, SpaceX analyzed what went wrong, improved its engineering over and over, and finally succeeded in launching Falcon 1, not on the second, not on the third, but on the 4th attempt. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of SpaceX's revolutionary achievements. Today, SpaceX is recognized as a global leader in aerospace innovation, pioneering reusable rockets, deploying satellite constellations like Starlink, and pushing the boundaries of space exploration with plans for Mars colonization. Marcus Aurelius wisely notes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Instead of fearing failure, view it as a stepping stone toward wisdom. As Elon Musk has demonstrated through the journeys of Tesla and SpaceX, each setback offers valuable lessons and a chance to refine your approach. Embracing failure empowers you to take bold steps and unlock your potential. Remember, every failure is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Third, releasing resentment. Resentment binds us to past hurts, poisoning our minds and hearts. While it's natural to feel wronged, clinging to these emotions prevents healing. Consider Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison under oppressive and unjust conditions. During his imprisonment, he faced physical and emotional hardship that could have fueled deep resentment. Imagine yourself in his position. Could you forgive those who unjustly took away nearly 3 decades of your life? Upon his release, Mandela had every reason to seek revenge, yet he chose forgiveness instead. He understood that holding on to anger would only perpetuate the cycle of hate and division. By letting go of resentment, Mandela focused on healing his nation, advocating for reconciliation, and uniting a country fractured by apartheid. His humility and compassion allowed him to transform personal suffering into a powerful force for peace, making him a global symbol of forgiveness and hope. Mandela's ability to rise above bitterness teaches us that letting go of resentment is not only liberating, but can also pave the way for transformative change and unity. Mandela's ability to rise above bitterness teaches us that letting go of resentment is not only liberating, but can also pave the way for transformative change and unity. Forgiveness is a powerful tool in Stoicism, not for the benefit of others, but for our well-being. Holding on to resentment is akin to drinking poison and expecting others to suffer. Choose to forgive and let go. This act unburdens you, creating space for peace, joy, and personal growth. Releasing resentment is a gift you give yourself, a way to free your heart and mind for a brighter, more harmonious future. Fourth, stop seeking approval. Seeking approval from others can trap us in a cycle of people-pleasing, often at the expense of our true selves. We've all experienced moments where we adjusted our actions or decisions, worrying about how they would be perceived. For example, we might second-guess ourselves in an effort to gain praise or acceptance, only to feel drained and disconnected from our authentic values. Consider J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the most celebrated authors in the world, she faced numerous rejections from publishers who dismissed her work. Her big break came when Bloomsbury, a small publishing house, decided to take a chance on her manuscript, influenced by the enthusiastic response of the chairman's 8-year-old daughter, who loved the story. Instead of seeking approval or giving up, Rowling stayed true to her vision, believing in the power of her story. This unwavering commitment to authenticity and persistence ultimately led to the global success of the Harry Potter series, demonstrating that staying focused on one's inner conviction can lead to extraordinary achievements. Stoicism encourages us to live virtuously, guided by reason and integrity rather than by the opinions of others. By prioritizing self-awareness and internal standards, we cultivate confidence and resilience. Our worth isn't determined by external validation. When we let go of the need for approval, we free ourselves to live authentically, focusing on what genuinely matters. It's a liberating realization that allows us to build a life rooted in our values, not in others' perceptions. 5. Let go of ego. Our ego often leads us to believe we're at the center of the universe, fostering conflict and disappointment. It whispers that our opinions, desires, and struggles are the most important, blinding us to the experiences of others. Consider Jim Carrey, a renowned actor and comedian who reached the pinnacle of success in Hollywood. At the height of his fame, Carrey had everything society tells us we need to be happy: wealth, recognition, and influence. Yet he felt deeply unfulfilled. Carrey has spoken candidly about how his relentless pursuit of success and external validation left him disconnected from his true self. "I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer," he once said. Jim Carrey realized that his ego, fueled by the need for approval and status, was holding him back from finding true meaning in life. His journey of self-discovery led him to focus on deeper values like kindness, authenticity, and connection. By letting go of his ego, Carrey began using his platform to inspire others, advocating for mental health awareness and encouraging people to look beyond material success. Today, he emphasizes the importance of selflessness and living with purpose. Stoicism emphasizes humility, urging us to step back and view ourselves as part of a greater whole. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have a mind, and you are part of a mind. The universe is one living being." When we focus on contributing to the collective good rather than seeking personal glory, we open the door to greater empathy and understanding. Overcoming ego attachment isn't about diminishing yourself. It's about seeing life through a broader lens. Jim Carrey's story teaches us that letting go of ego can help us align with values that truly matter, fostering inner peace and deeper connections. When we release the need to be the center of every story, we discover harmony in relationships and a deeper sense of purpose. Let's challenge ourselves to let go of ego and embrace the strength that comes from humility. Before we dive into the next topics, let's take a moment. If you found these insights valuable so far, consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people who can benefit from these timeless lessons. Thank you so much. 6. Redefining perspective on material possessions. Jim Carrey's story of letting go of ego beautifully bridges us into this next topic. While reflecting on the emptiness that material success brought him, Carrey noted how possessions and external accolades could never fill the deeper void within. His realization reminds us that happiness isn't found in things, but in the values and connections we cultivate. In a world driven by consumerism, it's easy to associate happiness with material possessions. We're often bombarded with messages that tell us the next gadget, car, or luxury item will complete our lives. Yet, when we reflect deeply, many of these items bring only fleeting joy. Let's think about this together. Consider a time when you saved up for something you thought would make you happy, a new phone perhaps, or even a new car. Maybe you even slept inside that car on the first night, overwhelmed by joy and pride. But how long did that excitement last? Often, within a week or so, the initial thrill fades, leaving us wanting something else to fill the void. For many of us, the thrill fades quickly, leaving us wanting more. Stoicism teaches us that true contentment stems from internal virtues, not external belongings. As Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By shifting our focus to cultivating qualities such as wisdom, courage, and self-discipline, we find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. This doesn't mean abandoning possessions altogether. Instead, it's about recognizing their transient nature and understanding that happiness doesn't depend on what we own. When we detach our well-being from material goods, we make space for authentic joy derived from relationships, personal growth, and meaningful pursuits. Let's strive to appreciate the simplicity and abundance of life beyond possessions. True happiness comes from being satisfied with what we have and finding joy in the intangible, like love, kindness, and personal growth. In doing so, we create room for experiences and values that truly enrich us. 7. Stop chasing perfection. The pursuit of perfection often leads to stress and burnout as we chase unattainable standards. It's a cycle many of us know all too well. Perhaps you've spent hours refining a project only to still feel it wasn't good enough or hesitated to share your work for fear of criticism. These experiences can leave us feeling trapped and unfulfilled. Consider Adele, the world-renowned singer-songwriter. Despite her immense talent and critical acclaim, Adele has been open about her struggles with perfectionism and self-doubt. The pressure to create flawless music and meet public expectations took a toll on her mental health. Her song, Chasing Pavements, encapsulates the emotional struggle of questioning whether to keep pursuing something uncertain. The vulnerability in her lyrics resonates deeply, reflecting a journey many of us face when perfection feels out of reach. Adele eventually learned to accept that imperfection is part of the creative process, and that her authenticity resonates more deeply with her audience than unattainable perfection ever could. Her decision to embrace her true self and let go of the need to be perfect has not only brought her peace, but also strengthened her connection with her fans. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our actions and responses. As Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Outcomes are often beyond our control, and obsessing over them only hinders progress. By letting go of perfectionism, we learn to appreciate effort and celebrate small victories. This shift fosters self-compassion and allows us to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Let's remind ourselves, just as Adele did, that growth and progress often come from embracing imperfections and learning along the way. 8. Move past mistakes. Our attachment to past mistakes can act as a significant barrier to personal growth. How often have we wished we could turn back time, replaying moments we regret over and over? Maybe it was a decision made in haste, words spoken carelessly, or actions we now see as foolish. These what-ifs and if-onlys can feel like heavy chains, keeping us tethered to the past. The truth is, we cannot change the past. What's done is done, and no amount of dwelling can rewrite those moments. What we can do is focus on the present, the choices we make today, to learn from those mistakes and create a better future. Forgiving ourselves is a crucial part of this process. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the present moment and accept the past for what it is, unchangeable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Self-forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring the lessons our mistakes can teach us. It means releasing the guilt and self-criticism that keep us trapped. For me, this meant asking what lessons I could take forward rather than letting the guilt or regret dictate my actions. It's not about forgetting, but about choosing not to let those moments control the present. Mistakes are part of being human. By choosing to forgive ourselves, we free our minds and hearts to focus on the present and create the future we truly want. Letting go of past mistakes is not just an act of self-compassion. It's a declaration that we are ready to grow and move forward with renewed strength and clarity. 9. Managing expectations. Expectations can be a double-edged sword, especially when they involve what we think others should do or how they should behave. When unmet, these expectations often lead to frustration, disappointment, and conflict. Let me share an example of mine for this last topic. I once expected some club members to support a project I was passionate about. When they didn't show the enthusiasm I hoped for, I felt hurt and let down. Reflecting on this, I realized I had placed unfair expectations on them without considering their perspective or situation. It became clear to me that my disappointment was rooted in my own assumptions, not in their actions. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what is within our control. We cannot dictate the actions or thoughts of others, but we can manage our reactions to them. By lowering or eliminating unrealistic expectations, we free ourselves from the cycle of constant dissatisfaction. Managing expectations doesn't mean lowering standards, but rather shifting our perspective. When we approach others with empathy and understanding, we begin to see their actions as reflections of their own priorities and challenges, not as failures to meet our desires. Instead, let's focus on cultivating understanding. Recognize that everyone operates based on their own experiences and values, which may differ from ours. By letting go of rigid expectations, I've learned to know people for who they are, not who I want them to be. It's a practice of grace and adaptability, one that opens the door to greater peace in relationships. Conclusion: a life of freedom and virtue. Moving forward isn't about rushing to achieve more. It's about shedding the attachments that weigh us down and embracing the freedom to grow, adapt, and find peace. The 9 topics we've explored are not just barriers, but opportunities to learn and evolve. By letting go of these weights, we align our lives with reason and virtue, paving the way for a deeper sense of fulfillment. Embracing change allows us to grow. Redefining failure teaches us resilience, and releasing resentment frees our hearts. By letting go of the need for approval and overcoming ego attachment, we strengthen our sense of self and humility. Rethinking material possessions and breaking free from perfectionism remind us to find joy in simplicity and effort. Learning from past mistakes provides clarity, while managing expectations fosters healthier relationships. The wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca reminds us that true freedom lies within, in our ability to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Each of these steps is a piece of the puzzle that shapes a life lived authentically, with purpose and peace. If you've made it this far in the video, I thank you for joining us on this journey. Your presence means the world to us. If you found these insights valuable, we'd love your support. If you haven't done yet, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel to help us reach more people who can benefit from these lessons. Together, let's continue growing, learning, and becoming the best versions of ourselves.